Rembrandt's probably the most famous self-portraitist. The atmosphere of the painting is influenced by what he's wearing and the poses he takes and the lighting that he imposes and his relationship to paint. And the way that he paints himself over time is completely exquisite because he is manufacturing magic. You can see the challenge to Freud, I think.
Rembrandt becomes famous because he shows himself, not warts and all, but with a big bulbous nose. So he's the first artist really who becomes famous for what he looks like. Certainly with Rembrandt, you get more of a sense of the self-portrait of something that tracks the development of the artist's technique. So Rembrandt goes from smooth painting to rough painting and the aging of the artist. Individualism and a sense of personal identity, you can really see that becoming central in the late Middle Ages. It does seem to begin with writers and autobiography, but by the same token, you find in the Middle Ages painters of illuminated manuscripts, putting themselves in miniature in the initials. They fit themselves into the margins of the manuscript or into the first capital letter.
I think Lucian was very aware of his place in art history, not in any way of great pretension. One thing that I particularly like about his work is that he's very consciously and deliberately working within a very established tradition. Portraits, self-portraits, still lives. He asked himself, what do I look for in a painting? And then listed a range of emotions. I want to be surprised, irritated, annoyed, amazed. They're reactions that go in different directions. They're not all positive emotions. Some of them are distractions. He wanted things that bothered him. He liked things with a little bit of poison in them.
Art does come out of art by the genuine interest on looking at other paintings. Lucian, if he was struggling with his own work, he would very often just go down to the National Gallery and go and look at a great painting, and it would help him. You know, he famously said, "Oh, it's like going to the doctors." Well, in a way it was, he would, these great paintings that have lasted the centuries are great because people want to look at them and they've got life in them still. He looked very much at 19th century French painting, Degas, Ingres, Courbet. He'd look at a lot of things, he had a really deep understanding of painting. When a great painting is made, there's some magic. You don't quite know how that's done. I mean, one of the extraordinary things that Lucian did as an artist was he made very small paintings, but these very small paintings, when you put them on a wall, they hold the whole room. That a small little painting this size, you will notice it from, 30 foot away from the other end of the room. Do that with a photograph, hopeless. It was just a different language. And that was one of the remarkable things that Lucian can do, is make a small painting and it holds the room.